Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello, welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, we have a hot show tonight, but first of all, of course, we have to mention our great sponsor, Dante's Pizzeria, 415 Harvard Street.
Delicious.
I actually went to visit David and his father, Dante, yesterday, and they were very busy, because they're a great place to go. All right, so, guys, first of all, do you remember when we were young?
Team Jimmy G took quite the hit this week.
Yeah, they did. When I found, so the boys come up 2 nights ago, and they said that Jimmy G got traded, and I told them that they were lying, and to stop that. Yeah. And then when I looked up and I found out, I immediately locked myself in the bathroom for like the rest of the night, and then I pulled down all my Patriots posters from the wall.
And you called me. You were unhinged the other night.
This is one of the most traumatic news.
You called me too.
One of the most traumatic sports news moments in the history of Boston sports. That's before you guys even start. This is going to go down as the worst Boston sports decision since Babe Ruth. Mark that in your calendar right now. 2 nights ago, purgatory for Patriots fans for the next 10 years. We're going to have to watch Jimmy G hoisting Super Bowl titles. Okay, absolutely. He's going to have a supermodel wife who's going to be from like Argentina. I mean, all of that could have been yours, but 2 nights ago, you're wonderful In Build We Trust traded the franchise for a second-round pick. And duly note that our second-round picks are usually the biggest stiffs known to mankind. Whole league is littered, right? And they usually play for the Colts. Littered right now with second-round busts from the New England Patriots. Boys, this is the moment that Rome burned down to the ground. Whoa. Patriots are done as a franchise the moment Tom Brady's carted off the field because he doesn't know where he is. You guys can start.
I think we should just let him punch himself.
No, I can go on forever.
Fiddle away.
I can go on forever. Explain to me why you would. First of all, the roster is not as good as it was 2 days ago.
Let's
is
talk
that
about
correct?
the quarterback position.
No, let's talk about the roster first.
Okay.
Right? We're a weaker team than we were before the trading deadline.
Only if Brady gets hurt.
That's right.
Okay, right. Okay.
Which is going to be weak anyway. How long do you think Jimmy Garoppolo's career is going to be?
No, I don't know. Let's talk about this season. Let's just talk about this
He's
season.
marrying a supermodel
No,
from
first of all,
Argentina.
let's talk about this season, all right? If Tom, and all right, we want to talk about the regular season. In 2001, when the Patriots won the Super Bowl, okay, in the AFC Championship game, Tom Brady went down in the first half. Bledsoe came in, threw a touchdown pass. Did not score any more points, but managed the game. We won the game. 2 weeks later, Tom was good enough to go back and play in the Super Bowl. What's going to happen if Tom gets a concussion in the first half of the AFC Championship?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
When's the last time Tom Brady missed a football game for injury?
I know, but when was the last time he played at 40 years old?
Can you actually just now let's take this down just a half a notch. I'm going to ask you a direct. When's the last game that Tom Brady missed?
Burning.
But that has nothing to do with.
My follow-up question is: when's the last game that Jimmy Garoppolo missed because of injury? Last year.
That's a great
All right.
point.
So
but it has nothing to do with anything.
Of course, it has everything to do with everything. It has everything to do with.
But his point is good in this: if he gets a concussion, it's beyond his control,
Joe,
Belichick's
Joe.
control. They'll keep him out of the game, and someone's got to go in.
Joe, please don't encourage.
No, you're happy that Brian Hoyer right now is our backup quarterback instead of Jimmy G?
To answer your question, the roster is not as good as it was yesterday.
Right.
It's not as deep.
We've had
You're
a
right.
downgrade from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brian Hoyer. There's no argument there. I'm not arguing with you on that. And
we did not make any acquisitions in the trading deadline. So because people
That's
thought
a separate.
No, but people thought that this move was going to create another move that we made
To
turn
make
around.
the team better this year.
Right.
We did not. We made the team worse in the last few days.
How long do you think Jimmy G's career is going to be?
Jimmy G.
7 years? 8
No.
years?
12 to 14 years this guy will play in
12 to 14 years.
Quarterbacks
Absolutely.
last forever.
What about
Look
the
at
last
McCown
three?
and them.
Absolutely. Yeah, the last 3 doesn't even count. As in,
So what would you rather have? Would you rather have 12 years of Jimmy Garoppolo, you don't really know what you're getting, or would you rather have 3 years of Tom Brady, the best quarterback that ever threw a pass in the NFL?
First of all, the whole idea that you're going to get 3 years more.
You're not going to get
43.
greatest of all time in the next
This
three.
is what should have happened because Tom Brady is holding this hostage.
What has Tom Brady done
franchise
to
hostage.
deserve this talk?
What's that? Because Tom Brady, behind the scenes, wanted Jimmy G out. He's never been happier the last couple of days
that's
because we've been
why.
saying this on this show for years. Tommy doesn't even want a backup quarterback. Let's put out a cardboard cutout, right? Okay, it's all about Tommy B, right?
Make
And
Giselle number 14.
he hated Jimmy G. We know that, right? They're not friends. They don't even pretend to be
Didn't
friends.
you see them at that Kentucky Derby together?
Oh, come on. They were serious. No, I did not see them together. I saw Jacoby
So
Brissett
here, I
with
got
them.
another question. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. And has he diminished at all from last year to this year?
Oh, I think he definitely looks like he's slowed down a little bit, teeny bit. Yeah.
What's
I
the
still
evidence?
better in the pocket. Oh,
What's
wow.
where's the evidence of that? Is there literally any evidence that he's slowed down at all from last year to this
Oh, I
year?
don't think he's been that sharp with passes.
in
at
the
times.
Kermit Mines.
He look at the Chargers game. He wasn't
I have
sharp.
no-
He was pretty. He dropped in some lasers in that game.
I'm not trying to. First of all, I'm not trying to criticize the Tom Brady
Seems
this
like
year.
you are.
Okay, if Tom Brady really cared about the New England Patriots and the franchise moving forward,
And
this is what
winning at
Tom
all
Brady
costs.
would have done. He would have announced, all right, because obviously there was a lot of talking this week, guys. He would announce that next year, 2018, would be his final season playing in the NFL. This would allow the Patriots
But
to
what
work
if
a
he
deal
but he
for
doesn't
Jimmy
think
G.
that.
But he doesn't think that. What if he believes that he's going to be just as good next year as he is this
And-
year?
Yeah, but that's not.
And maybe he'd like to make another $25 million doing
His job
what he
is
does.
not his job. Tom Brady's job is not to do what's in the best interest of the New England Patriots 5 years from now. His job is to win the next football game and the next football game in this Super Bowl and another Super Bowl and play as well as he can play for as long as he decides to play.
And
That's what his job is.
So why was the
He's not the
immediacy?
GM
Why
of
did
this
we
team.
have to trade Jimmy G this week?
Well, So here's my problem with the trade, and this is what I said to you. The timing is screwy on this trade.
Okay.
Like I will give you that, right? I will give you that because what basically Belichick took was a discount on whatever you could have gotten last summer just to look at Brady for 8 games. That's a pretty deep discount. He could have done better than the 33rd pick in the draft. I totally agree with you on that.
And he didn't shop it. I'm betting he didn't shop this.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how much
Right?
he shopped it?
Why not?
I'm sure he wanted to send him to the West Coast in the NFC.
No question. Great point.
Right.
I think they wanted to see him one time
He
every
doesn't
8
wanna
years.
see- right.
You don't
He
think
didn't
he
wanna
went
see
back
him.
to Cleveland?
No, because I don't think they
Because
wanted.
they had AJ McCarron.
Right,
also
exactly,
beat up
for
ready
5
to go.
minutes.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think he went back to Cleveland because
Yeah.
Cleveland has been getting so much heat the last few weeks because of Watson's play in Houston that I think they would have off, and they have a ton of picks.
Yeah, they got the wrong
This is what I want
Deshaun.
to get at. What has Jimmy G done to make you this upset?
He has
This
been team
excited.
Jimmy G forever.
Absolutely. First of all, I just didn't jump on the bandwagon
But
of
I don't
Jimmy G.
remember him being that stellar in his games.
First of all you have
He
is-
wanted to get
is
rid of Brady 2 years ago.
Absolutely, it's an eye test. You can see that this guy, then you see a guy like Carson Wentz in Philadelphia, and they're very similar quarterbacks. Carson Wentz has been very successful.
Wentz is much bigger than
Goff.
What's that? Goff over Jimmy G, not a chance.
Really?
Right?
He was taking number 1. Jimmy G was taking what?
Number
Goff's a
16.
stiff.
draft.
Goff's a stiff. They just have a great defense, the Rams.
I don't know.
Oh, please let us play the Rams in some.
Let me tell you, what would Goff be if he was Tom Brady's backup for the last 3 years?
I don't
Team
know.
G.
I don't know.
He'd be better than Jimmy G.
Oh my! You're gonna eat all that pie. You're gonna eat. No,
I don't think so.
Seriously, crow.
Okay, so I got
Humble pie, you name it.
So let me ask you another question.
Okay, but first of all, to show you that this was not planned, that this was a very reactive move, do you think, guys, that he would have traded Jacoby Brissett 8 weeks ago if he had planned on trading Jimmy G? No.
It pains me. I agree with you.
Something did happen.
The timing and the
Something-
execution of
something
this deal were screwy.
Right.
We did not maximize the asset. I don't think there's any question that we did not get the absolute most that we could have gotten out of Jimmy G. Whether we had kept him as a player, which is where we want to go next, or whether we had traded him earlier than we did.
How about this? How about this? How about the Patriots have their eye on a quarterback in the college ranks, and they've seen him progress a little bit, and they think they can get him?
But Pete, we know that any quality quarterback in this climate goes top 10 now. They don't make these teams do not pass on quarterbacks.
Where
Not
was
true.
Jimmy G?
Jimmy G.
Wait a
or
minute,
Tom
wait a minute,
Brady
wait a
were.
minute. Dak Prescott.
Oh yeah, but that's just a. And who? And
about
the question
Jimmy
is,
G?
who-
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Dak Prescott's not that good.
Dak
What are you talking
Prescott is a
Russell
very,
Wilson
very good
is, though.
quarterback. You
Okay,
can win
we're
a
talking
Super
about
Bowl.
7 years ago. Okay, let's talk about Tom
Dak
Brady. I
Prescott
get
was
it.
last
I'm
year.
talking
So
about now the
where did
current
Jimmy G
climate
go?
of the
14 or
Second
something?
run. Second
the
round.
NFL
Around
draft.
like 60-something. 60.
Let me tell you. Let me just say.
Oh my God, seriously.
If the Philadelphia, you look at Carson Wentz, you look at Dak Prescott, look at Deshaun Watson, and 3 teams have gotten franchise quarterbacks in the last 2 years. There's no reason to believe that the Patriots can't figure out a way to get another potential franchise
If they
quarterback.
haven't already.
If they haven't already eyed him up. right?
Because we all know what's painfully obvious is that Bill Belichick and the brass over there in Foxborough loved Jimmy G. They would have gotten rid of him
All right,
before.
right. So who forced their hand this week? And there's only one
Oh, I
man
know where this
who
is
could
going.
force Bill Belichick's hand to do anything,
I
and he
think
lives in Brookline. One Robert Kraft made a call to
protect Brookline
Belichick,
zone.
right?
Kanye.
I thought he was going to say Giselle.
No, all right, right. Well, no.
He's had his words with her.
No,
too.
Giselle's later.
is bad
but
for
right,
Giselle.
Bob Kraft made a call to Bill that Tommy wasn't happy. Tommy felt, crowded in
Also,
by Jimmy
by the
G,
way,
and then he needed to
Why
go.
would he feel crowded by Jimmy G? He's playing better than anybody in the league.
No,
Why would
here's the thing. I think you're right about Kraft. I don't think it has anything to do with crowding Tommy Brady. I think Kraft basically said to Bill, Brady's finishing his career as a Patriot.
Yes. Right.
End of
We're not
discussion.
paying this guy.
End of discussion. Brady's finishing his career. You're not trading Brady. So once you take a trade of Brady off the table to Belichick, there's only one thing for him to do at that point in time. He's got to get rid of Jimmy G.
He's gotta get some
Salary
value.
cap has your hands tied.
But he doesn't have to get rid of him till the end of the season. This is my point. I would not even have a huge problem
But then
if they
Jimmy G
traded
has
him
no value
in the
at the end of
off
the
season.
So
No, what are you
this
talking
is
about?
interesting. No, this is good. Now we're getting somewhere. So your big issue, the thing that's making you so angry, is the fact of the next 8 games or 10.
No,
games
no,
or
no.
12
It's the
games.
future too. But right now, as we speak, that is the most
Okay.
present situation.
Understood. So they took a risk. I totally agree with you. But now you have to tell me what you get to the end of this year, right? Brady has played as well as he keeps playing really, really well all the way through. They win the Super Bowl. They may get knocked out or whatever. And you're sitting there. What do you do with Jimmy G at the end of this year? Are you franchising him?
No, I think you try to make a big deal with him. I think you
But-
try to
but
give him
here's the
that
thing,
$80,
Scott.
$90 million
I think
that he
it's-
wants.
And
And
where
where
is-
is,
not
but
gonna
Tom's
make a
coming
deal.
back.
Tom's coming back for at least one more year,
So, yeah, but-
guys.
So
Don
you're going to make a
knows
deal
more.
with...
But
Here's the problem.
but first of all, you've got another potentially 11 games. If Brady gets hurt, then the dialogue changes already.
Look,
Then you-
You're
Jamie
dying
Collins
for
was a
poor
bigger
Tom to
deal
get
than
hurt.
this.
What's that?
Jamie
Praying for an
Collins was a
ACL.
bigger deal than this.
No, it's not. This is the biggest.
So, okay, wait a minute.
We know the quarterback is the most important position in sports. Would you not agree with that?
I want to get back to I want to get back to the question I was asking, which is, you're saying you could make a deal with Jimmy G, and I would tell you that could be possible if he didn't share the same agent as Tom Brady, because you can't go to Jimmy G's agent and say, you know what, we're planning for Tom to be out of here within the next couple
I
of
know,
years.
you're right.
You can't do
Absolutely.
it.
No,
And Don
it's-
Yee's
it's
like,
all
no,
about Don
he's
Yee.
not. Tom Brady wants to play for
They're
the next
both the
4
same,
years.
but-
You're
So
right.
You're
It's a-
screwed.
it's a
Belichick-
crazy
So
situation.
here's my here's my you know, and all the bluster aside. Here's my personal feeling on this. If you'd given Belichick a shot of truth serum yesterday, he would have got up at the podium and said, we drafted Jimmy G with every intention that he was the next quarterback in the New England Patriots. And we developed him. And he's proven that he could have been the next quarterback in the New England Patriots. But the way that Brady has played for the last 4 years, when he's been the best quarterback in the NFL for the last 4 years, turned that into a moot argument. And our problem is the timing doesn't work. Brady is here. Jimmy's here. Brady was supposed to fail. And he didn't.
And they were
so
supposed to
Belichick.
cross
No, Brady's screwing up the plan. I understand he's screwing up the plan.
So Belichick says at that point in time, so the timing didn't work. It pains me to trade him, but we got to go find the next guy because Brady looks like he's going to be around for a couple more years.
Okay, so if Jimmy G ends up to be a great success in San Francisco,
It's going to be painful.
And whose legacy is affected most? One Billy Boy?
Wait a minute. But we're still talking about Tom Brady here.
Okay, right, but we're talking about Tom Brady for a year or two.
Look at
Jimmy
Bill
G,
wanted to
you've
keep
got to win
Jimmy. He
Super
wanted
Bowls and
to.
everything.
Jimmy G, look, do you see the quarterback play in the NFL right now?
He's in a good with a good organization. Lynch is a good general manager. Shanahan's a good coach. They should go places. Whether they do or not is another thing.
The Patriots, there are only 32 quarterbacks who start every week in the NFL. The Patriots, in the last 8 weeks, have traded 2 starting quarterbacks, legitimate starting quarterbacks.
That's how good they are at it.
Right.
They call them quarterbacks.
Right. We now have Brian
another
Hoyer.
question. So do you think
Another starting quarterback
if Brady were if they kept Garoppolo and Brady went out with a separated shoulder and was out for the rest of the year, do you think that Garoppolo could have won a Super Bowl with this team this year?
Yes, I think he could. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G's that good.
And here's,
okay.
I think it's possible, but not likely.
You don't think that the Patriots are where they are now because of Tom Brady?
Well, of course they are. I mean, I'm not questioning that.
I think he's
I
just
don't
talking
like your
about this
attitude towards
season.
Tom.
We're just talking about the future, guys. And I don't know why you're criticizing Jimmy G. He's had 4 years of exhibition play in addition
Yeah,
to
but
that.
Scotty-
no, listen to me. He makes all the throws, and that's what it comes down to, all right? I know it may be against guys who are parking cars right now, but he can make all the throws.
Answer the fill in the blank. Jimmy G is blank % as good a quarterback as Tom Brady is right now.
80% right now. I'm telling you something. When Jimmy G, look at the
Can we cut to commercial?
Look at the tape of Jimmy G against Miami last year, and he looks like Tom Brady.
Scott, the whole thing is this: the Patriots, the whole plan, the whole thing is geared towards Tom Brady's window, which is now. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Would you?
Totally.
Right. Okay. But how about the future? Right.
But I think Belichick is always planning for the future.
No, I don't think, because his future will only last a couple more years.
Again, I think he got backed into a corner. I think he would love to have had Jimmy G be the quarterback of his
but
team.
at the same
moving
time, he's
forward.
not afraid of losing him.
But he couldn't do anything. Like, they were not going to franchise him. You cannot spend $40 million, $45 million on 2 quarterbacks.
So
you
you
will
got
have
to
a
leverage him.
defense.
So you got to leverage
What are you
him.
talking about?
won't have
He
a
had no
defense.
problem giving $60 million to
But that's
Gilmore,
not the same year.
who's absolutely
Scott, it's
useless.
different. Scott, it's different. He's paying $13 million for Gilmore this year. He would have had to pay $40 to $45 million to
Twice
sign
as much
Brady.
for Jimmy G.
And not
3
play.
times as much. And for one of those guys can't play.
Look, Belichick has had a very poor year personnel-wise. We're staring at the Dwayne Allens of the world, the Gilmores of the world,
I don't disagree.
the Philip Dorsetts of the world.
I don't disagree with you. That's why I am not sure that Jimmy G, even if you give him 80% or 75% of Brady, was going to win a Super Bowl this year with this team.
Well,
Scott, 80% is just
but
ridiculous.
no, it's not. Well, first of all, we can win a Super Bowl not because the Patriots are such a wonderful, super uber team, but you have to admit the NFL is very poor, and when you take out Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay, it's a crapshoot.
That takes a big competitor away from
Of course it does. Yeah.
And would we
But
be
he
afraid?
might be back, won't he?
No,
Playoffs.
Maybe for the
I think
playoffs,
I thought he was an IR.
I think
Maybe
so.
for the playoffs.
But look, would you be afraid to play the Eagles in the Super Bowl right now?
No,
No.
I would be
Tom
afraid
Brady?
Well, yeah, of
Like
course.
Aaron
So
Blunt, no.
I would with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Why?
He's not that good.
Oh my! Seriously, guys.
Hey,
Right?
wait,
No, really.
there's not enough sample size for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sorry, that's how I feel.
Really.
I think he really feels.
Look, when you get home, I want you to craft your apology letters to me.
Now,
That's
let
what
me
I'm
ask you a question.
instructing.
So here's a question for you. So you've panned the trade as the worst. All right. They get the 33rd pick, the 34th pick, and they actually draft a guy who 2 years becomes as good as Jimmy G. Is it that far out of the question that they can do
They're not
that?
doing that. They're gonna get some stupid
Why not?
offensive guard from Wisconsin. No, I'm sorry. If you look at the history of the Patriots, they'll get a defensive back who sucks. That's what they do in the second round. Or they'll trade down to get
this
fourth pick.
management is completely inept. The guy wearing 5 rings is lost his rocker, is gone, like mentally gone, shot.
7 rings.
He's showing vulnerability. Absolutely. What, at some point, what do you think they do?
No,
Really?
Russ is right. Belichick loved Garoppolo. He
loved him. He didn't want to trade him.
No question. He tried to hold on to him. He did everything he could. He never expected Brady to be this good.
Belichick always throws rose bouquets at guys going out of town.
You could tell by the tone in his voice yesterday that killed him.
He proved he didn't want to lose him at the trade.
So they did this right now. But you're saying because they wanted so much the second round pick as opposed to the third round pick.
Well,
did it ever?
That's what they did.
Maybe Don Yee said. He's not come. He wants to play.
No,
he's not going to sign.
Yeah,
he's not going to do a bridge deal. He's not going to do anything. If you don't trade him,
But Pete, you don't think that they had this conversation before the beginning of the year?
Look,
You think
again,
this just happened just now?
The most compelling argument.
While these quarterbacks go down, Jimmy G's going, I should be playing now.
Not right now. I mean, they're in the middle of the season. I think
When do
Jimmy
you think
G
he's
can.
going to play for San Francisco?
2 games. He's going to start
Jimmy
the
G
week
might
after
be that
next.
way, but
Absolutely.
Don Yee, the agent, works another way.
Look, he says stay healthy and you're going to get paid big at the end of the season,
He'll be
no matter
playing
what.
He's going to play the game after next for San Francisco. Are you kidding me? San Francisco's going to put him right in
Might
the
play against the Cardinals.
But that
They
puts
stink.
Jimmy G in a bad
Shanahan says he's
situation.
not gonna play
Jimmy
him.
G wants to play football.
have a great week of
Football
practice.
players want to play football. He's done sitting.
Russ, he's waited
that.
3.5 years. He can wait
And he's
another
not-
8 games
There is-
to
let me
get
tell you
paid.
something.
One thing he learned from Tom Brady, and that is never not
Let
play.
me tell you something.
Yeah.
I would bet anything that Jimmy G is going to be starting one of the next 2 or 3 games for the San Francisco 49ers. He will
agree
insist
No,
on it.
I agree that
And
Jimmy
he will-
G's
and
very
not only
happy.
will
I
he-
agree
Not
that,
only
yeah.
will he insist on it, he will tell his agent to say, go make sure that I play or I'm not re-signing with you next year.
Yeah.
He wants
He's
to play
calling the
football.
shots. And he's going to even take the kneel downs, just like he learned from Tom.
Tom always says,
Look,
it's
your
all about the reps.
Your most compelling argument by far, and I give you this, is the weirdness of the timing of this trade leaves them vulnerable for the next 8 weeks. And so you could have said, could they have gotten a mid-second rounder, if they had franchised him and traded him? The difference between the 33rd pick and the 98th pick that they would have gotten had he just walked, that's a big difference.
I know, but not enough to compromise potentially a Super Bowl
your
victory.
legitimate argument. Like you can sit there and say you gained 60 spots in a draft, but you put your entire Super Bowl season.
But also, you gained a guy who potentially could be a star quarterback for 10 years.
There's nothing that they could have done to keep Jimmy G
They
long
wanted
enough
to
for
keep
Brady, unless you basically came down and put a gun to Brady's head and said you're going to need to retire in the next 2 years.
A lot of people with
and they're not
potential
going to do it.
parking cars.
They're not going to do it. I agree with you. I think Kraft said he's finishing his career.
Well, we're going to rue the day that Jimmy G was shot. That's it. All right. No, fine. We're going to next week too.
Before
and
we
week
can
after
figure
that,
out who they pick, we're going to pick.
And the week after that, and the week after that.
Yeah, but right. You guys start watching Red Zone and just going to have a pained feeling
But
from
Kyle
4
Shanahan
o'clock
says
to
he's not
7
gonna
o'clock
play.
when Jimmy G's lighting it up
This weekend?
for the next 10 years.
year.
And do
Shanahan
not.
said that?
Yeah.
What's that?
He's not going to play him.
Oh, he's going to play him.
He's
There's
going to
no
play
way
him in a
he's not
couple
gonna
weeks.
play him.
All right. Well, I can't. All right, we're going to go to the Celtics, and they've won 6 straight, and without Jimmy G, and Kyrie has looked fantastic, and he is doing what he did against us.
That's right.
For us now, right?
Yeah.
And playing pretty good defense, too.
Playing good
If you
defense.
could do everything all over, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking
This
about
should be
Jimmy.
good. This should be
Who
good.
would you take? Would you take Kyrie or Porzingis?
Oh, I would take Porzingis.
I think
I
Probably
think-
right.
Yeah. Because those
right.
7'8" guys who can run the
they don't
floor
grow
and
up
get
to
a
Point guard. Get Porzingis
He's
the ball.
everything and more.
he's
Yeah,
really
remember
good.
because we had Isaiah,
he's really
and we
good.
can get those. Porzingis
he's
is
really good.
special.
Yeah.
But would you take Porzingis or Tatum right now? Because
you take Porzingis, but it's
It's-
You may not know this, but I'm going to tell you guys something. Tatum is the next Kevin Durant.
You are so right about that. That's a good call, Pete. I've been struggling to figure out who that was.
Bouncing around in my head.
Yeah, very good call.
Each
Pete.
week, though, we come on the show.
And Rome
it
is
looks-
burning.
Right, it is burning.
basketball
You do
savant.
look a little better each week.
Do I look? You have a guy in Jason Tatum who this game does come very easy to.
Yeah, it really
he is he does not have to give a high effort to have great results right now. He looks like he's just kind of coasting and doing everything right.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge, brilliant, as opposed to Bill Belichick, right? Danny Ainge, right?
Look,
this was
Danny,
a remarkable move and A plus.
You literally have to
I
say.
think they can compete
Yeah, you-
with Golden State, though.
You know what? But you still have to make
Well,
the
used
best
to.
moves you have to
It's
make
about
at
the
every point
future,
in time.
Joe.
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
look, it's literally the perfect trade. If you had planned on taking Tatum, number one, anyways, and we've heard enough and we know enough to know now that they really liked him. If you had planned that all along, you trade down to 3, you still get him, and you get a pick. It's the perfect trade.
Potentially very high.
Especially
literally
now
gave up
that
nothing.
he is what he is.
Would
Now-
Danny Ainge ever traded Jimmy G? No, seriously.
Yes, of course he would.
Traded
He
Isaiah
traded.
Thomas?
Of course he did. He traded Isaiah Thomas.
No, but a young potential star? No.
Yes, he would.
Red Sox would have never traded a young potential star. Only the
Why are we
Bruins
talking
would.
about-
No, I just want to mention. I got to finish this loop. Only the Bruins would have traded Jimmy G because that's what the Bruins do. They trade young stars. So I'll give you that.
They
So there is
certainly do
another
that.
organization
Yeah, right.
in
Yeah,
this
Peter
town that would do
Chiarelli-
that.
Peter Chiarelli would have traded Jimmy G.
Hamilton.
Peter
you can't-
Chiarelli did trade Jimmy G.
Yeah, right.
Tyler Sagan. He traded Phil Kessel.
Thornton.
Well, he didn't trade Joe
Ran him out
Thornton.
of town.
Yeah.
Who traded Joe Thornton?
What's his
Sweeney.
face?
No,
O'Connell.
O'Connell.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, that really was a long time ago.
That's
All
why
right.
he's doing TV now.
We'll finish up with the World Series, and boys, it's Game 7, and this has been one of the most exciting World Series of all time in our lifetime. Would you agree?
It's amazing.
Amazing stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, baseball is far from dead. We know it because this is a big baseball show. But this has proven to the rest of the American public that baseball, when it's at best,
When it's the best. Well, which is why they juice the balls, no
Yeah, it's
question.
proven to me that the Red Sox need more power. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, does it look like we're further away when you see these two teams going at it? As deep as they are,
You need
from
those
1 to 9.
three-run dingers. Yeah.
There is a part of me that feels like this is what we're watching is not exactly the baseball that we grew up with. It is the screwiest postseason. I think these off days in between these pairs of games really allow managers to do a lot of crazy things with pitchers. You got pitchers throwing 50 pitches, 60 pitches. You got relievers.
Dave Roberts, man, he's pissing everybody off.
Yeah.
But don't you
It's
feel
weird.
good that Roberts and A.J. Hinch are these good young managers, and all of a sudden we got a guy, Alex Cora, who's coming in who kind of fits that same mode?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like both teams. I'm rooting for both.
It's been a great series. I'm not
You're
rooting
rooting for
against
7
them.
games.
Yeah.
You root for 7 games because it's so much
That's
fun.
tonight.
And anytime you could see Kate Upton in her glory, and you know she's picked pretty much the wrong outfit the whole playoff postseason. But is there really a wrong outfit for Kate Upton?
I got no comment on that.
All right, so you had predicted the Houston Astros in 7 games, so obviously you have to stay with that. Joe, who's going to win tonight?
He predicted LA, so
I think
obviously
there's
he has
the
to stay with it.
Dodgers.
You had Dodgers in 6. We had the Dodgers in 6.
I had Dodgers in 7,
Okay. Oh, jeez.
so I could win it.
It's
I think I
between
had
you.
the Stros in 7.
It's
so.
between you two guys.
I think the
Dodgers in
Astros
7.
are a lot of fun
Really are.
to see.
Yeah.
That guy should have been. That guy who made the.
Gurriel?
I agree with.
That
I
was-
know what you're gonna say,
that
and I
was
agree
bad.
with it.
And they just kept him. They didn't. He suspended him next year.
What do you
5
think about
games
that? I
next
thought actually Manfred did a pretty good job because you really don't.
He should have been.
He should have been suspended the next game.
Do you really think so?
Yeah.
Look, they
you don't
suspended.
do that.
Look what.
No, it was
what
bad.
they
I'm not
did to-
saying it wasn't bad.
Look what
I'm
they
just.
did to Draymond Green two years ago in the playoffs. World Series in the NBA.
No, the
championship.
NBA.
You
yeah,
suspend a guy.
yeah, I know, but I
You just
know.
do.
You
I'm
have to
sorry.
strike when
There's,
the
there's
iron's
24
hot. You
other
gotta
players
do it.
on that baseball team. Someone step up.
Yeah,
Someone step up. There
I
are
know.
10 players on a basketball team who matter.
No, I don't like them suspending them during playoff series. Anyways, I just think that's not right. Look, Manfred made a great point. He said these 5 games will cost them salary, and we're going to hit
No,
him in the
that
pocket.
is
and so I thought it was
Yeah.
well thought out.
I don't
and,
think it was egregious, but that was not the call I would have made.
You know, look, it wasn't proper, and you know he's going to lose a lot of money because of this, because he's not going to
He's
get
not getting any endorsements.
never he's going to get a sponsor again. So he deserves what he gets.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. I just like that. You know, make it an even playing field for the playoffs and the World Series. But that's me. I want to thank the boys, of course. Want to thank Jimmy G for all that you did for us the last 4 years. Want to thank, of course, everyone behind the scenes, the lovely and talented Adrian and handsome Todd. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Pete drove Jimmy.
I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.